I suppose one of the big questions here, in fact, probably the only question on everyone's minds at the moment is what everybody wants right now is to be able to beat inflation, or at the very least to maintain their purchasing power. So you want to look at their portfolio in terms of it being positioned to help us beat inflation over the medium to long term.
So the thing about investing into the stock market is, if you look at the long-term history of, let's say, the US stock market, that the return profile has beaten cash over a long period of time. But of course, if you're looking at the interest rate regime recently or investing in gilts, like they are giving you quite a lot of return, about probably 5 to 6% within a short space of time. But what is different if you ended up investing into a company with strong pricing power, such as MasterCard or Visa, that they are net beneficiary on the back of high level of inflation. So they do make more money on the back of high level of inflation. So we would expect the company like MasterCard or Visa would be able to deliver a high level return than your cash, because ultimately, even if you're getting paid about 5 to 6%, we know that in the UK, the inflation number is close to 7, so you're still losing out a little bit. And it's important that you invest into a company with strong pricing power, hence they would be able to get the benefit, if not being impacted by the high level of inflation.
And you're expecting inflation to stay reasonably high. We talked about interest rates, but inflation as well.
So over the shorter term, let's say up to 3 years, we would expect inflation level to settle down at a high level than pre-pandemic. So pre-pandemic, we have a long period of time that inflation was at about 2%. We probably would expect inflation to settle down about 4% on average, let's say in particular in the US. But of course, the inflation number is a calm number, so you could easily get number back at 2%, but then it come back up to 4%, but on average could be about 4% ranges. In the UK, I think we have slightly higher issue. If you look at the recent data, that I would expect the UK level of inflation would be much higher than 4% over the shorter term. The other thing which is interesting, I'm sure we'll talk about this later on, is AI or automation is going to come into play in the medium term, which is probably in the next 5 years. And that would be deflationary. That would take inflation back down to 2%, but it's just not over the shorter term period.